Welcome back to We Are Austin. Good morning to you, and thanks for hanging out with us today. You know, with the recent pandemic, many Texans are kind of struggling to pay off what could be thousands in high-interest credit card debt. This morning, Jack Brandon with Debt Redemption is joining me to explain how you might be able to resolve your debt problems in as little as 2 to 4 years, and even better with an affordable plan. Good morning to you, Jack. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Trevor. Good to be here.
It's our pleasure. This is a really important topic right now. I know many people have found themselves in very different financial situations given the pandemic. Yeah. So this is really valuable info. I guess my first question would be if folks at home are kind of looking at mounting debt, when do they need to look for help with that high interest credit card debt?
Well, probably the first indication is when you're struggling or wondering what you should pay first or next, or if you're having to wait till the last minute or float when you're making your payment, then that's a pretty significant time to say, I've waited too long. Yeah, I need to make a call.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a pretty good key to go ahead and jump in and get some help. And I guess when you're looking around for help, you're saying that maybe people should avoid out-of-state debt relief companies for that help. Can you tell us why?
Well, yeah, with out-of-state companies, first of all, of course, there's going to be no contact. They are big, giant national companies that have not a lot of interest. You're just going to be another particular client. Also, another important thing is because we specialize in Texas, we take advantage of very significant rules, laws, regulations here in Texas that national companies or out-of-state companies are not going to be aware of. You're going to get a cookie cutter deal with them, and with us, it's very specific and laid out for Texas.
Well, definitely that local knowledge definitely puts you at an advantage. So how does it work? How does debt redemption work to help people eliminate their debt?
So when the client calls in, we get a list of their debts. We reach out to the creditors. We're able to consolidate their payment amounts into one monthly amount and negotiate with the creditors to reduce the principal balances on those debts, get them paid back over time, and typically for far less money with monthly payments that are also could be as low as half.
Wow. I bet that's
what the minimums are.
Yeah, that's probably a huge relief to those who are seeking debt relief there. So I'm kind of a visual learner. I understand that you've brought some graphs that kind of explain the difference between some of the options you have. Do you want to take a look at those?
I did. I've got here. The first one that we're going to take a look at is $40,000 high interest debt monthly cost. So you can see there with $40,000, if you're just making the minimum payments to those creditors with $40,000, you're looking at about $1,400, give or take, on a monthly basis just to make the minimums. If you use traditional credit counseling program, still relatively high at $800 or more a month. And with debt redemption, that payment is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $650 or so on a monthly basis. So significantly less than the $1,400 a month. That'll give a lot of people a lot of room.
For sure. Yeah. What else do you have to show us?
So in our next graph, you'll see $40,000 high interest debt payoff time. Most people don't realize that they're just making their monthly payments forever. And with $40,000, it can take up to 30 years making those minimum monthly payments. And that's assuming that you're not using the credit cards again.
Right.
So that's a long time to be dealing with the credit card debt. With traditional credit counseling, you're still looking at a relatively long time at about 6 years to pay that debt off. And with debt redemption, you're looking somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 years on average to get rid of that debt.
Wow, that's an amazing savings of time as well. And last but not least, you've got one more graph for us.
It is. And here in this final graph, $40,000 high interest debt, the total cost, staggeringly, with making those minimum payments, you're looking at over $104,000 to pay back that over time. It's an overwhelming amount. People don't realize it because they're just doing it over time. They're just making those payments on a monthly basis. If you use something like a traditional credit counseling program, you're looking at still a pretty high number, $57,000, $58,000 or so. And then with us, it's going to be less than the $40,000 that you borrowed, all in. We're going to get you out for less than you owe. So it's a great opportunity. It's a way to save people a huge amount of money. And just the stress alone of dealing with this type of high interest debt is overwhelming. There's so many other things going on now. Paying back ridiculously high interest credit card debt, should be one that you try to put by the wayside.
You're absolutely right, Jack. We can just eliminate one of the high stress things. I think we can. Those graphs really put it into perspective for us. That's a staggering amount, and I imagine a great relief. Something great. We've got notes here because friends at home here for CBS Austin, there's actually kind of a very special thing happening right now. We're going to put some information up on the screen for CBS Austin viewers. You can call or text 512-806-7111 for a free, no obligation consultation to kind of take a look at your debt. Or if you're one of the first 50 to submit your information at austindebtconsolidation.com. That's austindebtconsolidation.com. And you'll also receive a free copy of their debt redemption budgeting guide. Boy, I bet that's useful. Again, call or text 512-806-7111 or visit austindebtconsolidation.com to take a little bit of a deeper look at these really great options. Jack, this is really great stuff, and I'm sure lots of folks in Austin are going to be taking advantage of this. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jack. It's great how you're helping people kind of dig their way out of this crushing debt, especially during a really stressful time. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me on, Trevor.
It's our pleasure. See you soon. Stay safe. And you folks, stay right there because there's more We Are Austin coming up.